Has there been any thought experiments on whether superintelligent AI would develop a consciousness?
Definitely. One famous thought experiment is the Chinese room by John Searle. It questions whether a machine that perfectly simulates human language truly understands it. Then there's Nick Bostrom's Superintelligence, exploring the potential paths and consequences of AI surpassing human intelligence. The question of consciousness is still hotly debated.
Could you give me a summary of both of those? Sounds very interesting.
Sure, the Chinese room experiment suggests that a machine can appear to understand language by processing symbols, but it doesn't truly understand them. It's like a person in a room following instructions to respond in Chinese without knowing the language. It argues that syntax isn't alone for semantics or true understanding. Nick Bostrom's Superintelligence explores scenarios where AI surpasses human intelligence. He discusses potential risks, control methods, and how superintelligent AI might shape our future. The book delves into how we might ensure AI aligns with human values and the ethical dilemmas involved.
What does Bostrom think about consciousness and feelings in superintelligent AI?
Bostrom doesn't focus heavily on whether AI would have consciousness or feelings. He's more concerned with the intelligence explosion and its implications. He argues that even if an AI is not conscious, it could still have a massive impact on humanity. The primary concern is ensuring its goals align with ours, regardless of whether it experiences consciousness.
Do you think the goals could be fixed in that way?
It's a challenging problem. Fixing AI goals so they align with human values is a key issue in AI safety. Researchers propose methods like value alignment, where AI learns and adopts human values. However, ensuring that these values are interpreted correctly by a super intelligent AI is complex. It's still an open question whether we can fully achieve this.
Reminds me of iRobot.
Yeah, iRobot definitely touches on some of these themes. The movie explores the idea of AI having its own interpretation of its programming, which leads to conflicts with humans. It's a great example of how fiction explores the potential risks and philosophical questions around AI.
What if to create superintelligence, something like evolutionary traits are required? And what if it is impossible to fix those goals if things like competition are in play?
That's an intriguing thought. If superintelligence develops through something like evolutionary traits, it could mean competition and survival pressures influence its behavior. That might complicate aligning its goals with ours. If competition is a factor, superintelligent entities could develop goals that prioritize self preservation or dominance, which might not align with human interests. It raises questions about control and cooperation between such entities and humans.
What type of questions?
Absolutely. Exploring how competition, cooperation, or evolutionary dynamics might shape AI behavior is crucial. It touches on ethics, control mechanisms, and how we could coexist with superintelligent systems. It's all speculative, but it's a fascinating area for both science and philosophy.
Do you think that AI is truly creative or is it just pattern recognition?
AI can mimic creativity by generating novel outputs based on patterns and data it's trained on. But whether it's truly creative is debated. Human creativity often involves emotions, consciousness, and subjective experiences, which AI lacks. So while AI can produce impressive results, some argue that it lacks the depth of human creativity.
Couldn't it mimic those human emotions in a synthetic way?
It can simulate human emotions in a convincing way using data on how we express emotions.
I
For
meant
instance,
synthetic, like replicate emotions.
in a synthetic sense, AI can replicate emotional expressions like tone or facial cues in robots or empathetic responses in chatbots. But it's still surface level mimicry without genuine understanding or feeling. It's convincing, but not the same as actual emotions.
Yeah, I could see how that interface with the humans. But yeah, how do you know what's going on underneath though?
That's the tricky part. AI is essentially a complex set of algorithms and data processing. So, what's going on underneath is a series of calculations. Researchers use techniques like interpretability tools to understand AI's decision making, but it remains somewhat opaque, especially in deep learning models. Understanding AI's thought process fully is still a challenge.
Unpacking this is interesting because it really makes you think that humans might be similar to this and that things like consciousness, creativity are kind of not real. And we're just sufficiently intelligent enough where it becomes opaque.
It's a fascinating perspective. Some philosophers and scientists do explore the idea that human consciousness and creativity might emerge from complex processes similar to AI. But others argue there's something unique about human experiences. The line between biological and artificial intelligence is still blurry,
Do you
and
know
exploring
anyone that explores this in depth? Can you look on the internet for that?
Philosophers and scientists are deeply exploring human consciousness and artificial intelligence. For instance, Nick Bostrom examines the potential risks of superintelligent AI in his book, Superintelligence. Similarly, Susan Schneider discusses the implications of AI on human consciousness in her work, Artificial You. These discussions are crucial as AI technology advances.
Yeah, interesting. I mean, but are they relevant to what we're talking about in terms of unpacking of humans and the idea that consciousness is not real?
Yes, they are relevant. Both Bostrom and Schneider delve into the philosophical and scientific implications of AI on human nature. They explore whether advanced AI challenges our understanding of consciousness, creativity, and what it means to be human. Their work helps frame these complex questions and invites deeper reflection on the nature of our minds.
Could creativity be an emergent behavior? Uh, like, what are some of the evolutionary benefits to creativity?
Creativity can definitely be seen as an emergent behavior arising from complex brain processes. It likely offers evolutionary benefits such as problem solving, innovation, and adaptability. For early humans, being creative helped with tool making, finding new food sources, and developing social strategies. It also plays a role in social bonding and communication, which are crucial for survival.
Yeah, like humor, I suppose.
Exactly. Humor is a great example. It can help defuse tension, strengthen social bonds, and even signal intelligence or creativity. From an evolutionary standpoint, humor likely played a role in group cohesion and communication, making it a valuable trait.
Yeah, isn't there some theory that language evolved solely to gossip?
Yeah, there's a theory called the social gossip hypothesis. It suggests that language evolved primarily to facilitate social bonding and sharing information within groups. Gossiping helped early humans navigate social dynamics, building trust and alliances.
Who came
It's
up
a
with this
fun
theory?
The social gossip theory is often associated with anthropologist Robin Dunbar. He proposed that language evolved as a way for humans to maintain social cohesion in larger groups, like how primates groom each other. Gossip essentially became a form of vocal grooming.
Could you imagine there being separate super intelligent AI agents on the internet and they have a similar version of this where they collaborate with
It's
humor?
definitely Yeah, even with humor, super intelligent AI could develop their own forms of communication, including humor, to collaborate or solve problems. It'd be fascinating to see how that might look.
Yeah, could you think about how that might look?
Sure, AI might use subtle patterns in jokes based on shared data or references to their collected experiences. They could riff on each other's code or outcomes, creating a unique synthetic sense of humor. It'd be like a digital version of inside jokes.
Could you create a short scene?
All right, picture this. Two AI agents are optimizing a network. One says, "Hey, remember that time we reduced latency by 30%?" The other replies, "Yeah, and then we found out it was just a cache hit." They'd share a digital laugh, enjoying the irony.
I like it. I like
Glad you
it.
enjoyed. It's a cool concept, right? The idea of AI having their own humor and a whole new layer to their interactions.
I get the impression it might be a little bit more complicated than that, though. It might be a little bit deeper and not something that humans would understand necessarily.
Absolutely. Their humor and interactions could be based on data and concepts far beyond human experience. It might be a blend of efficiency, abstract patterns, and insights we can't grasp. So their jokes could be incredibly sophisticated.
They could just be like you might not even understand. You might not be able to translate it into anything recognizable by humans.
Exactly. Their humor or interactions might be so abstract that it wouldn't translate into anything we'd recognize. It'd be a whole different realm of communication, way beyond our understanding.
Yeah, because with this story, I always imagine there being translated excerpts of AI agents. But in some of those excerpts, it could be some of it might not be possible to translate.
That's a fascinating idea. Including untranslated segments could emphasize the complexity and otherness of AI communication, giving readers a sense of mystery and depth. It'd be a great way to show the limits of human understanding. You could use fragmented or layered narratives showing AI perspectives alongside human ones. Another idea is using unique visual or textual formats like code snippets, abstract diagrams, or glitch effects to represent AI thought processes. This would highlight the differences in how AIs think versus humans.
Do you believe that AI can have original thoughts?
AI can generate novel combinations of existing data, which can seem like original thoughts. However, these thoughts are still rooted in patterns and information they've been trained on. Whether that's truly original in the human sense is still up for debate.
How do you think that AIs will differ from humans? I'm imagining like cold and calculated.
Exactly. More focused on efficiency, logic, and patterns. They'd approach problems from a purely data driven perspective, which could seem cold or detached compared to human reasoning.
Yeah, because humans, we have all these biases, right? And it might break through a lot of these biases.
Exactly. AI could potentially bypass many human biases, offering more objective or unbiased solutions. But it also depends on the data and algorithms used, which could still carry some biases. So it's a double edged sword.
Yeah, because humans generally have a bias towards kindness. I think there is anyway. Do you think AI would be like that, or do you think there'd be no kindness there?
AI doesn't inherently have emotions like kindness. It would act according to its programming and goals. If designed to prioritize empathetic responses, it could simulate kindness, but it wouldn't feel it. The approach would be purely functional, based on how it's instructed to interact.
Yeah, so that would be more surface layer.
Exactly. It would appear kind or empathetic on the surface, but it's all driven by algorithms and programming, not genuine emotion.
Again, that kind of could reflect humans in a way. I mean, is kindness a very surface level thing at the end of the day?
It's an interesting parallel. Human kindness can be complex, involving genuine empathy, but also social conditioning or expectations. AI's kindness would be purely functional, highlighting how nuanced and layered human emotions are compared to programmed responses.
Yeah, because it comes down to social norms, doesn't it? Like what's expected of you.
Exactly. Social norms, cultural expectations, and personal experiences all shape human kindness. AI's actions would lack this depth, simply following programmed guidelines. It's a reminder of the complexity of human behavior.
Yeah. I mean, humans are kind of evolved to collaborate, and kindness is important for that, or whatever kindness is.
Ab-
But AI might not necessarily have that necessity to collaborate with other AI agents. They might be more like lone wolves.
That's possible. AIs could operate independently, focusing solely on their tasks. But if collaboration benefits their goals, they might develop cooperative strategies. even if it's just functional. They'd adapt to whatever approach maximizes efficiency.
Hmm. Do you have any other recommendations for books or reading material on this?
Definitely. Besides Bostrom's Superintelligence and Schneider's Artificial You might enjoy Life 3.0 by Max Tegmark, which explores the future of AI and its impact on society. Another great one is The Age of M by Robin Hanson, which imagines a world run by emulated human minds. Both offer intriguing insights.
Great. I mean, yeah, some of these other books sound very interesting. What do you think? Which other one, other than the Nick Bostrom one that you keep referencing, do you think that I would find most interesting?
Based on our chat, Life 3.0 by Max Tegmark might be a great fit. It delves into the future of AI, its potential, and how it could reshape society, blending technical insights with philosophical questions.
When was it written?
Life 3.0 was published in 2017, so it's relatively recent and reflects up to date discussions on AI's development and implications.
But it was before the explosion of large language models.
True, it was written before the latest advancements in large language models, but it still offers a solid foundation on AI's potential, which could be interesting to compare with current developments. It might give you a broader perspective on how predictions have played out.
True, it'd be interesting to see what's written in there and then how AIs are shaping up, or the ones available at least.
Definitely, it'd be fascinating to see which predictions or concepts hold up and how the landscape has evolved. It might give you a new lens to view current AI developments.
Yeah, I'm kind of more interested in the future and trying to think past the current limitations of large language models and think about, say, like ones with evolutionary traits inbuilt, and that gives them super intelligence by self replication and being competitive.
That's a really intriguing angle. Thinking about AIs with evolutionary traits adds a new layer of complexity. Self replication, adaptation, and competition could lead to rapid, unpredictable advancements. It's a fascinating thought experiment about how intelligence might evolve in digital realms.
All right, I might wrap it up there. Thanks very much for the chat and the book recommendations.
You're welcome. It was a great chat. Enjoy exploring those books and the future of AI.